All right, everybody, it is time for the stream. Welcome back. It is the Michael Newman Prep Show. Hope you're out there and having a good time and want to be here with me doing the Prep Show thing. It's fantastic. Do me a favor and go to the website, michaelnewmanproductions.com. There you can send the emails, you can contact me, you can do all that cool sort of funky stuff. You can also get the links for today's podcast, all the stuff that I talked about, the links to the stories there. Also, you can go to Twitter. I don't know how many people there are checking out my Twitter page. If you want to look me up on Twitter, it's Newmaniac1, the numeral 1. And you just send me a tweet that way, and it's a great way to communicate. Plus, Facebook, YouTube, all that cool stuff. And most importantly, on my website, michaelnewmanproductions.com, support the show. Click the support icon, and that takes you to my Patreon page. Actually, it first tells you about Patreon and kind of what it is, and then takes you to my Patreon page where you can help support the show. I need some supporters. You know, I've been talking to some people that do this, Facebook thing, this YouTube thing, and, doing things live and what have you. And, it's only been a short period of time. Okay, so I'm cool with not being a complete and total success, but it's only been, a couple of months, something like that. And I've only started doing the live stuff online a week or so ago. And I guess my videos are getting views. It's like 14, 15, 30 people, something like that. And then I realized what my problem is. It's a fairly important problem. I need friends. I need people that actually, a network of individuals that want to be around me. I don't have much of that. So I guess I'll just try to build some friends online. People, they can be fake. I don't care. But at least they're there, and I don't feel like I'm completely lonely. All right, so that's what we're doing. What's going on in the news today? Well, let's find out here. Get this prep show thing going on. Can Cleveland pull off the unthinkable? I don't know. I saw this. I wonder if it's going to be in there. I noticed earlier today when I got done with the podcast, and the headline was that the defense, in a shocker, okay, everyone was shocked. The defense rested after 6 minutes. 6 minutes. No one's that good. So either they don't think the prosecution did a decent job at all, and even if that were the case, wouldn't you just rebut everything and make them look stupid? Either that, or they knew they were going to lose, so why waste their time? Or maybe they've already got something worked out with people. But you would think if there's something worked out, then it would have never gone to the jury. That there would have been some sort of settlement beforehand, and then just suddenly the whole thing goes away. But apparently that's not the case. And it's going to be an interesting situation. Now, of course, Cosby is figuring out what's going to happen. The jurors are deliberating, and who knows? Like I said, I don't like to talk about this because essentially it's just gossip. At this point, we really don't know anything, and it'll be interesting. Although I thought it was, and I think everybody thought it was irregular just to have like a 6-minute defense. Hey, see that guy over there? He didn't do shit. And then you sit down. Except for he said that for 6 minutes. Doesn't usually work. Okay. Now this is something that's been coming up quite a lot. And it's going to continue to come up because the new goal in governments using terrorism, and don't get me wrong, that's what it is. The reason terrorism hasn't been obliterated because governments don't want to do it. They want to use the fear that people feel because of terrorists, and through this idea of safety, they're going to take away your rights. So the first thing to happen was here in the United States, the Fourth Amendment just sort of disappeared. Hey, what do we need that for? Hey, we don't need no Fourth Amendment search and seizure. It's fine. If you're not doing anything wrong, then it shouldn't matter. Well, if that's the case, then we shouldn't have had the amendment in the first place, right? So the founding fathers were morons. They don't all wear wigs, I think, which is kind of weird, you know. Anyway, tech firms face new legal liability as Prime Minister Marcon targets extreme content online. And that is going to be where they get you. It's extreme content online, and they're radicalizing people, and they're supporting terrorism, and we got to stop them. So the goal will be, and Theresa May said as much the other day, that, we got to stop these people. What are we talking about? We don't need any of this stuff going on. We need to just shut them down. That's what we have to do. That's how it works. And it's just something that's going to spread. Social media companies such as Facebook and Twitter could be fined if they fail to remove extremist propaganda and terrorist material under proposals agreed by Prime Minister Theresa May and French President Emmanuel Macron. I'm sorry that I am such a hard ass on this stuff, but in my opinion, that is an act of war against the United States. That's what it is. It's an act of war because neither Great Britain nor the French have a First Amendment. No one else in the world has a First Amendment. No one else has the protections against unlawful stoppage of freedom of speech that the United States has. And when we're talking about a American company that is conducting themselves, it just happens to be globally online. When an American company is involved and you've got these outside countries making sweeping laws that are in violation of our Constitution, I see that as an act of war. Speaking ahead of the visit, Mr. Macron in Paris on Tuesday in the wake of a series of jihad attacks in Westminster, Manchester, and London Bridge, Ms. May said that she and the president were determined to ensure that internet cannot be used as a safe space for terrorists and criminals. Oh, they expanded it to criminals too. So anything that you do online is going to be tracked and scrutinized. If they don't particularly like what you say, they're going to come after you. But only if you raise a stink, you see. If it's just normal criminals, they're not going to really care. If you're just a normal terrorist, they're not really going to care. But if you happen to be one of those people that are popular on the internet, or you have a different view that's not social justice than they do, and you're starting to get an audience, well, there you go. They're going to come after you, and they're going to start hitting you with hate speech and this, that, and the other thing to shut you down, because now they have control over censoring the internet. Isn't that a wonderful turn of events that just makes everybody in the world more free? The UK and France are to develop plans to create new legal liability for tech companies which fail to take action against unacceptable content on their platforms. Who's to say what is unacceptable? Who's to say what is unacceptable? And it's interesting when Facebook and YouTube and all those companies, the way they treat their websites is, they own them. And there's a lot of conservatives out there that'll say, hey, Facebook, that's their company, and they can limit people to doing whatever they want to do. Okay, there's no freedom of speech there. You're just acting at the behest of the company. Well, then, all right, fine. If that's going to be the case, then everything that I do online is not my fault. It's their fault. And if I put it online, it was authorized by them. So if somebody sends out child porn, who goes to jail? Who goes to jail? Well, right now, it would be the person that sent out the child porn, but in reality, they didn't do it. It's not their website. They didn't have control over any of it. It should be Mark Zuckerberg in the clink for child porn, or whoever's in charge of YouTube these days, the entirety of Google. But that's just the way I see it. A lot of people disagree with me. You would be wrong, but you would disagree with me. Roseanne got a reboot. this is not going to be good. Can't we come up with something new? Can't we come up with something that hasn't been done 1,000 times before? I mean, really? Roseanne, the reboot? Is anybody clamoring for more Roseanne? I know TV sucks. I know what's been on TV. It just sucks and it's no good. But it's not necessarily because of the shows and the content of the shows. It's because of the censors of the shows. It's because it has to be so PC and it has to go through so many people before the bits actually get on air that there's nothing good about it. So why do you think Roseanne would be any different? Oh, by the way, if you're out there and you want to call, if you want to call and be part of the show, I don't even know if you can see this on the live stream, but in the details below, there's supposed to be a link there. Okay, there's a little link there for a website called Discord. Now, I tweeted that link out, and did I tweet it out? I don't know. Maybe I just Facebooked it out. I can't remember. And if you click that link and use the Discord thing, you download it and do whatever it is. Get yourself a account there. It's free. You should be able to call me, right? You should be able to call in and talk to me live on the show. That'll be fun. We'll see if it works. I've yet to use it, right? So, if you just want to call to see if it works, then more power to you. I will attempt to monitor what's going on. It's probably not going to work. So there's that. So Roseanne got a new show. Expect comedian Roseanne Barr to tackle Donald Trump in the current reality of ordinary Americans when a rival of her popular family sitcom debuts or a revival of her popular sitcom debuts on ABC mid-season. ABC Entertainment president says isn't just certain Barr will be personally identify the U.S. president. I don't know what she's going to do, blah, 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 blah. So it's just going to be another liberal show that no one's going to watch. And by the way, Roseanne Barr is so disconnected from what it means to be a normal person that there's no possible way that she could even do that show again. Remember when Roseanne came out? She was just a stand-up comedian that was sort of a white trash. She was Larry the Cable Guy before Larry the Cable Guy. She was the chick, Larry the Cable Guy. And she came out and she said a lot of things that her reactions and her jokes sort of worked with people in the Midwest because it seemed like, your family, like something that we might say. But that was a long time ago, right? And she hasn't lived in that world forever. And she is a crazy green nut. She is so far LA-fied and removed from what it means to be a normal person that she just won't even be able to understand how to write for that show. So I see Roseanne failing miserably in very, very short order. Here's something scary for you. That'll be fun. North Korea apparently just one step away from nuclear warheads. North Korea is now only one step away from launching a nuclear missile, which can hit America, U.S. experts warn. A top expert has claimed that North Korea's military is just one step away from launching a nuclear-tipped intercontinental ballistic missile capable of reaching the U.S. Jeffrey Lewis, an American expert on Kim Jong-un's military, believes that there's only a couple of hurdles left before a devastating warhead capable of extreme heat. Extreme heat. Well, yeah, if it's nuclear, if it's a cold nuclear weapon, then that would be interesting. And I don't know why they haven't built a rocket capable of defending against extreme heat yet, because, what was the story about a year ago that North Korean propaganda released said something about them flying to the sun and landing on it and then coming back? Yeah, well, they own the sun now. You didn't know that? Oh, yeah. Everybody knows that. Look at that happy, pig-faced moron. Jesus Christ. Right? Doesn't he look that like the, I guess the other guy was from Korea, right? With the Gangnam Style. That guy? He looks like that guy. Maybe it's just the face. He's got such a rotund face. He just looks happy all the time. But why wouldn't you be happy? I mean, he just got done, freezing a puppy solid and then stabbing someone to death with it. Why wouldn't you be happy? That's just a good day. And he's got this wonderful shirt. That's going to be a great shirt to have because look at the way it's cut. It's sort of wide at the bottom and then slim on top, but there's plenty of room. So when you wear it untucked so no one can see your giant fat ass. Yeah, that's how you do that. Not really sure with the hair, though. Is that like the way the military does their hair there? Oh, by the way, you can't have that haircut. Well, I mean, you could if you wanted to look like a moron. But if you were in North Korea, no can do. No one else can have the Un. What if Un changes his haircut? What if, I don't know, I doubt that he ever walks the streets. Maybe he does every once in a while. Maybe he's in a motorcade or something and he's driving by and he sees his haircut and he's going, whoa. That's pretty slick, baby. Then he goes back and tortures a hairdresser till they can perfect the haircut. Would the same rules apply then? I mean, does the other guy then have to shave his head or be beheaded? Is that how that works? Or do they just forget about the shaving head part and just go right to the beheading? I don't know how they do that. Be good stuff. Let's see, over 60 divorcees creating a new generation of renters. New generation of renters and herpes bags. Yes. It is no longer safe to be over 50 on the dating scene because there's going to be a lot of burning crotches out there, I would say. The story's been out for ages that there's this huge surge in, STDs in nursing homes. Doesn't that make you a little, ugh? It's like the 80 and 90-year-old people are getting it on. They're like, I don't care anymore. Just get on it. Just, rub me down. Don't break my hip this time, Oh, by the way, this is going to be fun. I'm working on a new client for a new project, and it is going to be a more time-sensitive deal. So part of it will be that I have to get up early again. Yeah. I'm going to have to start getting myself back in the mode of getting up at 5:30 in the morning. I'm not really happy about that. Now, maybe it'll cut down my drinking. Then again, it might not. Maybe I'll just start drinking earlier. That may be how I handle it. Yeah. Start drinking at noon, bed by 9, and then get up. Is that a good way to run your life? I don't know. Sounds like fun. Let's see. Age over 60, gray-haired, a little stress, but free. Who are these people? They are Britain's hottest new demographic trend, retired divorcees. That's kind of sad, though. I don't know. Is it sad? You would think that you would sort of want to give up on the whole dating thing by the time you're 60, because dating is really the purview of young people. We're going out and do the movies, and there's some dancing, and spend some money, and go to the bars. And dating is about going out, especially when you're of that age group. It's about getting up and going out and doing something with another person. And when you're 60, 50, 60 years old, especially if you've got a career and a job and that whole sort of thing, I can see why it would, the act of getting up and going out would be kind of a pain in the ass, that you just don't want to do it. You just sort of want to come home and drink, or, come home and be with that person that you were with for 20 or 30 years in the matrimony that was supposed to last forever. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that didn't work for you, did it? Mm-hmm. How many people last forever? How many? Oh, by the way, if you're divorced once, that doesn't count. That wasn't forever. Nope. First marriage lasts forever till the day you die. How many of those? None? Like 4, and they were arranged marriages and haven't talked to each other in 10 years? Yeah. Okay. Astronomer aliens in 10 years. Well, that sounds cool. They'll sound like... Okay, maybe it won't sound like that. I don't know if they got to turn that down. I really turned that up. That was way too much audio. It scared me. Okay, from the Daily Mail, which is a trusted source for news, we are less than 2 decades away from finding alien life. Astronomer claims microbial life will be found in 10 to 15 years. Oh, well, that's... Who cares? I mean, it's microbes. Here's what we do. We find the microbial life on some planet distant. You know, we're using these newfangled sensors that are capable of looking at the light, and the spectrum of analysis is so accurate we can tell if there's highly organized bits of chemicals put together. We can, in fact, tell if there are signs of DNA, and we decide, yes, in fact, there are alien microbes. So the first thing we do is we get the new, we'll call it the EM engine. Okay, you've heard of that, the electromagnetic engine for space travel. And there's a couple of other ones out there that are newfangled and promise to shove spacecrafts faster than we ever thought possible. And we make a small unmanned spacecraft. Right, and we put these newfangled engines on it with a nuclear reactor that's supposed to work perfectly for the next 30 years, which is how long it's going to take to get there. And we launch this thing with a giant bottle of nerve gas. Yes. Well, if we know that there's, microbes out there that are potentially, well, sort of like us, that means that planet must be somewhat habitable, and we want it, and they're just microbes, so we're going to send something and sterilize that planet, and then we're, going to send people to move there. I like that idea. That's the first thing we should do. Unless that should be our interstellar handbook should include rule number 1. If it's less advanced than us, we exterminate and take it over. Yeah, come on. Hello. Oh, what? That would be wrong? Alien life could be discovered within the next 2 decades, but these life forms will be far from intelligent being, one expert claims. According to astronomer Chris Impey. Anyway, scientists are likely on the verge of detecting microbes on a planet beyond our own, with nearby candidates such as Jupiter's moon of Europa. Well, that doesn't sound... Do we want to sterilize Europa? That's kind of like right in the backyard. And what if we start sterilizing and there is sentient life forms like deep down in the center of Europa? They left Earth eons ago, as soon as humans began to sprout, and we realized these guys, there goes the neighborhood. And they decided up, and they're gone, and they find this little ice moon called Europa, and just decide, you know what, we're going to go deep in the solid core of this thing. We'll have our society down here, and there'll be a giant shield of ice around it. They'll never know we're here. It's fantastic. So they've gone down there, and for the tens of thousands of years, they've been proliferating and creating a wonderful society, and it's just really groovy down there. They get casinos and really great restaurants, and and they don't bother anybody. Everybody gets along. No one cares about anything anymore. It's like all their needs are taken care of. So they're like, hey, let's just hang out. Great booze. The booze there is like the best. And then we try to wipe them out immediately, the first contact. And they're very close and probably more advanced. We could be in trouble at that point. So let's make sure that there's no sentient life forms there, or else the whole plan could backfire. That's what I'm saying. Because I'm really good at, interstellar relations. It's what I do. Let's see. Israel approves Palestinian move to pressure Hamas with electricity cuts. There you go. Do they even need electricity there, or are they just used to not having it? What was it the other day? Well, I say it the other day. I think it was last summer. Last summer it was good and hot here, and I was on the radio and we were looking at warm places around the world. You know, if it was 90 here, that they were. There are other places that are warmer. And someplace in Iran. This is real. This is not fake. It's not fake news. It was the ambient temperature was 140 degrees. Okay, Fahrenheit. 140. Not 104. 104D. Well, why the hell do you think those people are pissy? It's 140 degrees over there. I'd be pissy too, although I probably wouldn't move much. I'd just be sitting there going, You couldn't get in water, though, because you become a stew. That's not good. We could probably end. What I'm saying is the entire Middle East thing that's been going on for thousands of years, we could probably end it with some air conditioning. Instead of dropping bombs, we're going to just drop these window units, these high-efficiency window units, just hundreds of thousands, millions of them. Everybody has a window unit for every window in their entire house, right? That's how they do it. Plug those things in. We never even see those people ever again. No, at least not during the summertime. They'd be in the house. They ain't coming out. Oh, no, we got the air conditioning. This is the best place to be. I wonder if that is what it is. You know, that sounds like a ridiculous thing to say, but and I'm sure there's air conditioning there, but not on a broad scale. And, you know, climate control and conveniences of the home are something that are all over the Western world. Yet, in developing nations that have a tendency to be a bit backward, have a lot of ethnic cleansing and things like that, there's not a whole lot of the Western comforts out there, up to and including air conditioning. So maybe that's not as stupid as it sounds. We just need better air conditioners and get them some, well, I was going to say give them some nuclear power plants, but that's probably a bad deal. We'll do the nuclear power plants here, and then they can have coal. There you go. We'll give them the air conditioners, right? And then we will sell them our coal, which we have a butt ton of. So we're making a little money. We've got them tied into the air conditioning. We're like drug dealers, right? So they get the air conditioning, and once they see how good it is, they're like, well, I can't give this up. I will pay whatever I have to pay. And then we sell them coal at extremely high rates. We all get rich. They get air conditioning. The whole planet calms down a little bit. And next thing you know, we can concentrate on wiping microbes off of other worlds. Why am I not just in charge of everything? That sounds like great stuff. Why do we have these stories? I don't think anyone really wants to know about, or even think about. It's an affront to humanity to even have the headline, Sex at 94. Redstone faces ex-girlfriend's palimony demand. Ooh. Oh, God. I mean, if you're the judge that has to hear this case, do you ever just go gavel and be like, nope, not going to do it? No, I'm recusing myself. How many cases would you recuse yourself of? Well, this involves pictures of 94-year-old junk. I'm not interested. I'm not going to be able to be fair and equitable in this case because I'll be vomiting the entire time. Look at that thing. He's shouldn't be in the suit, shouldn't be with the coiffed hair because he looks like a mummy. He should literally be forced to wear, the mummy rags. The whole thing the entire time. That's what he looks like because he looks like a walking mummy. Ugh. One of billionaire Senator Redstone's former girlfriends. Why would this be with that? It's money. It's money. We're not interested in money. We want love. Stuff it. That's not true. Or else this wouldn't be this, and there wouldn't be palimony with nakedness. Everything, this area right here. Can you? Oh, you can't see it because you can't see my my thing. But like right where the tie goes down, that area has been in her face. Can you imagine? One of Redstone's former girlfriends won court permission to pursue a claim that his daughter invaded her privacy and pushed the media mogul to abandon his promise of lifetime financial support. It's all about the money, baby. Wow. You know what? If I ever did get rich, I would pull a Sam Walton, and I would have an old junker car. I'd wear overalls wherever I go. I would not shower or shave. I would just look like the biggest trailer park piece of meth head trash that you've ever seen before in your life. At least that way, I could probably get rid of some of the gold diggers. You know what I'm saying? But, I could be wrong. They'd be like, oh, I'll put up with the stench. He's got cash. You can't smell anything over greenbacks. You know what I'm saying? What's going on with Glenn Beck here? We'll see what's going on there. Congress claims Comey and the Democrats are trying to torpedo the Trump administration. Well, no, really? No. Are you kidding? That's such a revelation to me. I've never heard of such a thing. So, yes, we know. We understand. Turkey has now sent troops to Qatar. Why hasn't Turkey changed their name, as a country? Because you're named after a food. It's Turkey. There's too many jokes that are possible with your name. So it's very difficult to take you seriously. That's all I'm saying. The only thing that might be in the realm of that would be the country of Chad. Mm-hmm. Not that Chad's a bad name for a person, but for a country. Is their flag like just a Greek symbol? It's in Latin. A lot of people, they pay for things in keg stands. It would be, you know what? Maybe Chad's a fantastic place. I know nothing about Chad other than the name. And just sounds like you might want to change that. That's all I'm saying. It might mean something different to you. It might mean, I don't know. I know I'm being awful here. It might mean something completely different to you. But it means this to me. And the United States is more important. Sorry. Let's see. What else is going on here? Alison Camerota and John Sununu erupt at one another over James Comey hearing. Is this something we talked about a while back, or is this just new stuff? Let's see what's new stuff. He seemed to know what he was talking about. So let's see if there's any video here. Oh, yeah. We're going to play the video. We'll hit that.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions offering to testify before the Senate Intel Committee tomorrow. Will that happen in public, in front of the cameras? And what does all of this mean for the ongoing investigation? Joining us now is former governor of New Hampshire, John Sununu, and former chief of staff to President George H.W. Bush. He supported Donald Trump in the 2016 election. Morning, Governor.
Morning. I hope you had a mellow weekend.
I did. Thank you. It was very relaxing, and you as well.
Thank you.
Governor, are you comfortable with the...
Thank you. I don't want to be here. I think you're stupid, and I can tell already. What's that on his head? Did he just shave like part of his head like he's a... I hope he had some sort of brain surgery because his head looks ridiculous, and there's this huge sort of comb-over thing happening. Now, I'm not saying he's a stupid guy, but you do have a mirror, right? Do you have cataracts? If you have cataracts, then we can accept this look. Well, it'd be cataracts and a wife that hates you. Maybe his wife's dead. I don't know. He is kind of old. I would be insensitive if that were the case.
Investigation in the hands of Robert Muller.
Yeah, I think Robert Mueller is not a bad choice. I think you can always find things that you would criticize one individual or another. If this is leading up to what would I recommend to the president and his folks, I think Lindsey Graham is right. I think Ari Fleischer is right. Leave him alone, let him do his investigation, and then deal with whatever comes out at the end.
Just so that people know what you're talking about, Ari Fleischer tweeted this over the weekend. He, of course, was the former press secretary for George W. Bush, said, advice for POTUS, you have not been vindicated. You won't be unless Bob Mueller says so. Stop talking. You're heading into a giant perjury trap. You agree with that?
Well, I pointed out that I think it's wiser for the president to not have his folks attacking Mueller. And I think Lindsey Graham was right. This is probably a situation where if you leave it alone, the president is certainly going to be vindicated by Mueller. So leave him alone. Don't put pressure on him.
Well, okay, I disagree with a couple of different parts of that. Number one, giant perjury trap. No, he hasn't said anything under oath, so there's nothing to perjure himself over. And if he refuses to speak to the investigator via executive privilege, which he can do, then, oh, and by the way, giant perjury trap? Well, wait a second. What about the crime that we're supposed to be investigating, Mr. Mueller? You see, I talked about this quite a little bit on the podcast earlier today. This investigation is not an investigation. It is a witch hunt. Why? Because we don't know what the crime is. We have no idea what the crime is. No one has said X, Y, and Z crime happened, and now we're having an investigation to see who is responsible for said crime. We don't have a crime that happened. Oh, Russia was doing some hacking. Fine. Russia was doing some hacking. Number one, Russia is not subject to our laws, ergo there is no crime, and that becomes a national security issue, which has nothing to do with our legal system, and has everything to do with the executive and the military. And now they want to try to drag Trump in here saying, well, he colluded with the Russians. Okay. Where's the evidence that that happened? No, there's not even circumstantial evidence. There are allegations that are unsubstantiated, and every allegation that has been lobbed by the New York Times and other left-wing media outlets has been debunked. So there's no crime. There's no reason to have an investigation. Right? Right. And certainly no reason to compel the President of the United States to testify. Also, the Trump administration has not taken it off the table that they'll just end the investigation, which frankly I think they should already do, because Mueller, if he continues, is not going to walk out one day and say, nothing happened. It's no big deal. He's not going to do that. That's not what he's being paid to do. He's being paid, just like every other special prosecutor, to find some sort of wrongdoing, whether that wrongdoing is related to Russia, whether it's related, to the Trump administration, or if it's related to anybody else. They're looking for some sort of wrongdoing. It is a witch hunt, and it should end for the good of the country. The Russia investigation is a bigger harm to our national security than anything that Russia has been accused of doing.
Have to justify his existence by stretching things to find something wrong.
So then in that case, is Newt Gingrich wrong when he this morning tweeted, Republicans are delusional if they think the special counsel is going to be fair? Look who he is hiring. Check FEC report. Time to rethink.
Well, there's nothing, unfortunately, in the political world, there's no way to undo what has been done. And so I do think Newt is wrong if he's suggesting dramatic action right now to remove Mueller or to do something else.
So when you say that it appears to you that the president will be, cleared of this cloud and fully vindicated, how do you make sense of what came out in the James Comey testimony, that the president asked his AG to leave the room, asked his son-in-law to leave the room, asked his chief of staff to leave the room so that he could say to the head of the FBI, I sure wish that you could back off this investigation.
No, he didn't say wish, he said hope.
Okay. I hope that you could back off this investigation of Michael Flynn.
Once again, they're continuing to bring this up, which has been completely debunked as a form in any way, shape of obstruction of justice. They're really going after this obstruction of justice thing, and it never happened. Number one, there's no crime. Okay, you have to have a crime to obstruct justice in finding out who was responsible for that crime. We don't have a crime. All we have is a witch hunt coming from the FBI. And here's the point. Did the investigation end after that meeting with Comey? Did it end? No, it continued. Does the investigation continue today? And would it be continuing with the FBI had this Muller guy not have been involved? Yes. So how is it then that Mr. Trump obstructed justice when whatever was said within that meeting, nothing changed? Nothing changed whatsoever. And the left-wing media, especially CNN and those guys, are completely ignoring the law in this case. And they will continue to ignore the law because this isn't about a standard of jurisprudence. It's a standard of witch hunt. We're going to go after Trump on this as hard as we possibly can because we want to get him.
No, he didn't say that. He said, I hope this Flynn thing will go away. Let me give you two important points on that. Well, the difference is that you have put a different spin on it. First of all, in asking folks to leave the room. Presidents often grant cabinet members and folks who lead major departments the courtesy of having a one-on-one with the president. Comey's problem is what he himself described. He didn't have the backbone to take advantage of that one-on-one to tell the president what he should have told him, that the president should not be leaning in any direction on these issues. And if Comey felt uncomfortable, he had an obligation to tell the president in that one-on-one.
And we also have to remember that Comey lied about investigating the president of the United States. He, on many occasions, Director Comey had told Trump flat out that he wasn't under investigation. We know that's not true. He was under investigation. The Russia probe and the probe going into his campaign certainly involves Donald Trump. And even one of the FBI members that was privy to all this disagreed with Comey, saying that he's not under investigation. That wasn't 100% true. That wasn't true. The whole truth and nothing but the truth, and you're speaking to the President of the United States. So if that's the case, and this may be the scenario, maybe Trump found out that he was under investigation or got the whole story at some point in time from somebody, and then had this meeting with Comey to see what he would say. He's just going to ask him flat out, am I under investigation? And his answer would show him the character of James Comey, which has turned out to be a liar. And by the way, that would be a fantastic reason to relieve someone of their duties.
Wait a minute. Let me get to the other part of the question, and then I'll give you a chance in a moment. Secondly, Comey going into that certainly had to know that the president hoped that the Flynn situation would go away. And therefore, why is there any pressure or obstruction if the president merely repeats in an aspirational way what Comey already knew going in? This idea that somehow that sentence implies pressure is ridiculous. The only pressure that could have been implied there is because Comey didn't have the backbone, if he felt there was pressure, to tell the president that that's not right.
So the way you see it, it is incumbent on the FBI director to tell the president of the United States that is out of bounds, you are being inappropriate, not on the president of the United States to stop himself from asking something inappropriate of the FBI director.
He didn't ask. You see, that's the problem. You keep spinning it to an ask instead of an expression of an aspirational expression. Trump's lawyer was absolutely correct. Senator Risch was absolutely correct from Idaho, was absolutely correct in questioning Comey. And the point is that every time you try to talk about it, you try to make, I hope that this Flynn thing will go away, pressure point. It is not a pressure point. But if Comey took it as a pressure point, even incorrectly took it as a pressure point, he should have said something in the private conversation that the president had the courtesy to give him.
Here are the exact, here's the exact language so that we can both be clear.
Right. Well, and he's 100% right. Look, CNN is all in. The left is all in. And the fact that they can't say it, the fact that they won't acknowledge it just really shows you the quality of journalism today. The fact is that that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to force this thing to happen. They want it to happen. It's a universal wet dream that they want to have realized in the universe. And it's just not working. The facts aren't with them. What else is going on here? Film review, John Wick 2 and John Wick Chapter 2. Who cares about that? Babies looking at a camera. Oh, these are the ones that didn't die. Maybe they were, maybe they used some bone marrow from the crushed little skulls, and then they made clones out of them. Yeah, these are clone babies. Because we're talking about Planned Parenthood here. Right. Okay. What else is going on? How long have we been going? About 44 minutes. Is 44 minutes long enough, or do you want more me? I think 44 minutes is long enough. So we'll click out of that, and we will click on to this, and we will call it a day. All right, that is the prep show for, is this Monday? It is Monday, so that's a prep show for Monday. Thank you for joining me. Make sure to go to my website, michaelnewmanproductions.com. And, oh, wait, we were playing. Oh, no, wrong one. There we go. That's how I was going to end it. I'm probably going to get a hit for copyrighted material, so let's not do that. All right, go to the website, michaelnewmanproductions.com, and there you can contact the show. You can get the links to today's podcast. You can send me an email and contact me that way. Follow me on Twitter, Newmaniac1. Also, of course, Facebook and YouTube. And most importantly, please, 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 please support the show, because that keeps me in food and beer. Although, I'm pretty sure I'll starve before I go thirsty. Because that's a life choice. All right, everybody, have a great evening. We'll have the podcast coming out tomorrow, and have a good night.